My name is Neil Patel, and I help companies generate more revenue through digital marketing. Entrepreneur Magazine said I was the #1 marketer in the world, and they also said I created one of the 100 most brilliant companies. I started my first website at the age of 16. I took all the money that I earned from working at an amusement park, and I paid a marketing firm. The marketing firm provided no results, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone. Out of my frustration and from being broke, I had no choice but to learn marketing. My first client was a power supply manufacturer. I helped them generate another $25 million in sales, and from that point, I realized the power of marketing. I helped everyone that I could, and I built my reputation by being honest and over-delivering. I've helped companies like Google, NBC, Viacom, General Motors, eBay, but nothing's more satisfying than helping small business owners succeed. I founded 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and I've learned all the mistakes that you should avoid. I've written about them on Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Fast Company, and even on my own blogs. It's so awesome to know that colleges from all around the world are teaching my material in their classroom. Over the years, I've received awards from the President of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the United Nations. People believe marketing is expensive and difficult. Fortunately, that's not true. There is a formula. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, you can get results. And my mission is to share this formula with you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending today. We really appreciate it. Today, we are going to be talking about Black Friday again, and we're going to be talking about getting your CRO ready. So you guys can see the screen now. This is episode 2 in a 4-week session, 4-part session. There's still 2 more episodes. And I'm Neil Patel. I'm the co-founder of an ad agency called NP Digital. And I also have Matt and Ryan here with me from our team. Matt, do you want to give a quick overview of yourself? And then Ryan, you can do so as well.
Of course. Thank you, Neil. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm Matthew Santos. I'm the SVP of Products and Services at NP Digital. Been in the space for 10 years, working heavily in organic lead generation and a lot of other omni-channel marketing strategies. So very excited to be bringing some ideas around CRO for this upcoming Black Friday.
Hey, Neil. Hey, Matt. Ryan McHugh here, Director of CRO for Neil Patel Digital. Just quickly about me, about 14 plus years of digital marketing experience, CRO, optimization, UX, all of that good stuff. So really excited to speak with everyone today to help you out with some ideas and answer any questions we might have at the end.
Cool. So we're NP Digital. We're a global ad agency. We're in 16 plus countries. We work with a lot of big brands. We won a lot of awards. And the reason I say this isn't to brag. I always believe we can learn more. I always believe we can be better. But just keep in mind the tactics and strategies that we present today are proven. They're battle tested. So when we talk about CRO in this presentation or email marketing in the next one, or whatever we're discussing on, just keep in mind that these tactics have been tried and tested. They work. So if you just implement 1, 2, or a few of them, you should see good results. More than 100 million people will be shopping online this Black Friday. So the real question is, how do you get them to buy from you versus the competition? With us, we figured out how to do that. Hence, we won a lot of awards, as I mentioned. We also won Agency of the Year award again. So again, just keep in mind that these tactics and strategies work. And we're going to show you how to get some of those 100 plus million people over to your website and convert into customers. As I mentioned, we're on episode 2. The first one, if you haven't watched it, you can find it on YouTube. It's about getting your SEO ready. This one is about getting your CRO ready. Then in the next webinar, we're going to be talking about email marketing for Black Friday. And then the last one would be on paid media marketing for Black Friday as well on Cyber Monday. So, first off, what is CRO? We're not talking about chief revenue officer. Some people use that term for the sales industry. We're talking about the marketing vernacular of it, which is conversion rate optimization. Conversion rate optimization is a really simple process. You got X people coming to your website, let's say 100 people. If one of them buys, you have a 1% conversion rate, right? One out of 100. What conversion rate optimization does is it's modifying things like your text and your images and your copy and answering objections to be more persuasive. So then hopefully you can get two or three out of 100 people to buy. See, because if you get two out of 100 people to buy with the same traffic, you're making double the sales. If you get three out of 100 people, you're pretty much doing triple the revenue. The magic of conversion rate optimization, it's a lot of little things that add up and make a huge difference in the long run. And this generates a massive increase in profit because it's not like you have to spend more money getting that traffic to your website. You already have it. The example I gave was one out of 100, right? That would be a 1% conversion rate. But now imagine you're a big corporation or even a startup that's growing your traffic at a really rapid pace, and you now have thousands of visitors coming to your website or millions. Increase in conversions by 10, 20, 30% really makes a huge difference on your bottom line. Now, the benefits of implementing CRO is it gives you more efficiencies with your marketing. You can then increase and scale up your paid ads quicker because it's more profitable. It also allows you to open up new opportunities for new marketing channels to leverage that you once weren't able to because they were too expensive. And the best part about it is if you can optimize and get your conversions better than the competition, you can start winning market share and start becoming the leader within your space. And the last one that I mentioned about being the leader in your space and gobbling up the market share is my favorite because if you can gobble up market share and really become the leader, there's going to be a lot of people who would be open to investing in you, buying you, acquiring the company. The possibilities are endless when you're the leader in a category. Now, should CRO be on your radar for this Black Friday? It should. Whether you're an e-commerce company or a retailer with online and brick and mortar presence, or a service-based business like we are, or even a SaaS-based business. Funny enough, we have SaaS divisions like Uber Suggest or Answer Public. It doesn't matter what kind of business you are. Black Friday is relevant to almost every industry, and I say almost every industry because let's say if you're selling oil like gas or petroleum, it doesn't really matter if you have Black Friday, if people just need it. Or if you're selling electricity, or if you're selling planes to the government, or like those big Boeing airliners, you don't really need to run a Black Friday promotion or Cyber Monday promotion. But for most businesses, pretty much everyone here attending, it's pretty relevant. Now, Black Friday is the most popular. Now, most people assume Black Friday is the most popular shopping period of the year. The day alone isn't necessarily the most popular shopping period of the year, but when you combine it with that week, it definitely is. Cyber Monday is also really, really popular as well. And you don't just want to optimize for Black Friday, you want to optimize for that cyber weekend. In total, 130 million people in the US shopped online in 2022 during that cyber weekend. And if I were you, I wouldn't just optimize for Black Friday or the cyber weekend. I would optimize for all the days coming up to Black Friday as well, because you'll see a huge increase in sales during those time as well. In essence, you got to optimize for roughly a week period. But here's the thing. If you're optimizing and you're doing a lot of marketing campaigns to get tons of traffic, but you're not converting those people, it doesn't really matter. And that's what we're here to fix today. Now, conversion rates will naturally soar during this period of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but you have to keep in mind that's not your normal conversion rate. You're getting that conversion rate because you're offering deals. Here's the kicker: if you can take your Cyber Monday and if you can actually take your conversion rates pre Cyber Monday and pre Black Friday and work on increasing them. What you'll see is during that time frame, right, during this holiday promotion, your conversion rates will not just go up, they'll go up substantially more than what you would have anticipated because you've been optimizing your funnel throughout the normal period. For example, accepting PayPal, we're typically seeing a 16 to 18% lift in conversions by adding PayPal as a payment option, not just globally, but also within the United States. So that could be another trick that you can use, which means during your Black Friday period, whatever your increase in conversion rate is if you had PayPal, you may see extra 16 to 18% on top of that. Now, one of the last things I want to really talk about is Black Friday versus Cyber Monday. Did you know online sales in 2022 reached for Cyber Monday 11.3 billion versus 9.12 for Black Friday? When you look at the whole week, though, now I'm not trying to say Cyber Monday is better than Black Friday. When you look at the whole week, though, $35.3 billion in sales. That's why I say you can't just optimize for one or two of the days. You got to optimize for the whole week, because if you just look at those 2 days, it's roughly 20 ish billion dollars in sales. Why would you want to just optimize for 20 billion ish in sales when you can optimize for 35.3? Go for all of it. It's roughly the same effort anyways. Now, before I hand it over to one of my colleagues, one thing I really want you to keep in mind is if you don't optimize for conversions, you're just giving away free money. You could say, yeah, we did really well during this period. We did $1 million in sales, but you may have been able to do $1.5 million, $2 million in sales. Don't just flush money down the toilet. Optimize.
Thank you, Neil. So let's talk a little bit about this. When is the time to optimize? Well, the time to optimize is right now. Actually, you don't want to wait until the last minute. You want to start preparing your CRO for strategy for Black Friday right now. So we're going to take a look at 5 tactics to help you get your holiday optimizations rolling. So one being, you want to ensure your site's ready for that influx of that traffic that you expect. We don't want any timeouts or slow sites. And review your site. Use heuristic frameworks to really understand how visitors are engaging with your pages. Don't overlook mobile. Mobile's, as we saw, can be huge. It is huge. It's growing every year. So make sure you're not overlooking your mobile designs. Next, you want to really create some holiday specific ads, offers, landing pages, match the intent of those visitors, really showcase those prominent offers and create that strong ad to page relevance. And then test everything. There's so many elements to test, find out what the most important elements are and really start to iterate on them to get that maximum conversions out of everything. As a large, influx of visitors start coming to your site, you could, potentially slow down, page speed. You could have things like timeouts, and we don't want those. So it's important to take some measures to mitigate those and make sure those aren't happening for you. Really, 25% of your visitors are going to abandon your page if it takes more than 4 seconds to load. So that's a lot of potential conversions lost. So as you make these, optimizations, you want to be mindful of that page speed. You really want to shoot for a load time of around 1 to 2 seconds. So things like lazy loading, reducing image size, reducing the video length or removing videos altogether can really start to, help with that. And then speak with your hosting provider about, upgrading your plan during this holiday season so that traffic can be handled in an efficient manner. If you need to implement a code freeze in which developers stop coding, stop making any changes to the website during this holiday season, really to, prevent any issues during this busy time of year. And if something does happen, you really want to make sure you have your website backed up so that you can easily get that back online and running in quickly as possible. So conducting a CRO interview, a CRO audit. A CRO audit is really, it's a comprehensive examination of your website's user experience and, how it relates to conversion. So we do this using heuristic processes, heuristic frameworks, and really analyze, where visitors are engaging, where are they not, what content are they engaging with, what are they clicking on. You really want to understand, the analytics and see, where's the traffic going? Where are what has the most traffic as far as landing pages? Where are the visitors exiting from? Why might they be exiting from those pages? So really get a good understanding of that. You can use tools like Crazy Egg, heat mapping tools, and customer surveys to really understand, what's being clicked on, what are the pain points we need to address. And you really want to make sure your site is search enabled, because as you can see there, searchers are 2 to 3 more likely to convert on your page if they are searching. So we certainly want to make sure that site search is enabled. Really, the ultimate goal of this CRO audit is to identify opportunities to improve conversion rates. So a thorough audit is going to assess all aspects of your website's landing pages, design, copy, functionality, the overall user journey, to make sure we can pull out some different areas of opportunity to help your conversions grow. So I'm going to talk about a quick case study here. Deliver Fund is a nonprofit intelligence organization that leverages cutting edge technology against human trafficking. Deliver Fund's problem was they weren't really engaging visitors on their website enough, especially above the fold. So to solve this, created a stronger H1. It really connects and calls the visitors to action, join the fight. We brought a call to action above the fold into the hero section. We want to encourage visitors to, click and use elements of trust in the supporting copy to really explain who Deliver Fund is, what value they bring, and, why these visitors should join their fight. So this led to a 2.4% increase in our primary conversion metric. It may not seem like a huge gain, but, Neil talked about it earlier. If we look at, let's say, 10 optimizations or 10 test winners of averaging about a 2% lift, let's say. If we compound all of those together, we're looking at about a 25% increase right there. So 25% increase, what would that mean revenue-wise to your business? It really can start to add up quickly, as you can see. So we want to ensure your site is mobile friendly. We don't want to forget to optimize for mobile. So mobile is growing every year. Last year's holiday season, mobile shopping drove the majority of online sales. So we want to make sure the site is optimized for mobile. And on the next slides, we'll dive into this a little bit more here. So here's a few tips for optimizing for mobile. We want to use a responsive theme and make sure we're adjusting page layout for mobile. So limited real estate means not everything from desktop can sometimes carry over to mobile. So we want to understand what are the most important elements and make sure we transfer those over to our mobile designs, make sure they're laid out appropriately, button placement, things like making sure our CTAs, our call to actions, are consistent for the same actions. They really stand prominently. And, an option could be to test a sticky call to action that's kind of at the bottom of the footer and right, always visible as users scroll about through your pages. So a few other things, optimize your image sizes. We want to make sure they display correctly. They don't slow down page speeds at all. Don't use things like cursive. We want to make the copy easy to read, easy to scan, legible. So don't use a difficult font that's kind of really hard to understand and hard to read quickly. And don't use unnecessary fields on your forms. If you don't need to know a visitor's favorite song or something like that, don't ask for it, because we know in the end, shorter forms are going to be higher conversions. And then last, you always want to ensure a menu is easy to navigate. Visitors can find exactly what they are looking for. So a few common problems you want to avoid when you're with mobile websites. So it's natural for visitors to click out of pop-ups or intrusive interstitials, which what Google calls them. Generally, people view them as annoying, especially on mobile. And pop-ups, used in a poor fashion, not only is it a bad user experience, but they really increase the risk of low rankings and search engine results. So Google will, penalize sites that make content less accessible to users. So instead, you want to promote your offer in a banner directly on your page, or potentially even use an exit modal pop-up as something that pops as they start to move off of that page, so that you can look at that as really kind of a last Hail Mary attempt, and not be penalized for that by popping something that might get overlooked at the beginning of their user experience. So CTAs, if your CTAs and other clickable elements are too small, or they might be too close together, it creates really kind of a bad user experience, and likely to frustrate the person trying to use that particular button. So working with smaller screen size, less is definitely more. So don't use too many CTAs. Don't keep them too close together. Have a primary call to action. That's the major action you're asking of your visitors. And don't use too many images too. Too many different calls to actions can create a paradox of choice with visitors. Hick's law is a law that states that the more stimuli a visitor faces, the longer it will take for them to make a decision. So don't slow down their decision-making process. Don't make them stay there too long and second guess it. And then calls to action, they should stand prominently, above the fold. They should really be, stand clear from any of the other elements on your page, so they can clearly be, clicked on. And again, potentially use a sticky footer CTA on mobile in the footer, so that as your visitors scroll, they can constantly see that call to action. And then lastly, don't use Flash. Flash really has a long history of security flaws, malware, bugs. It doesn't work on Apple devices. It's really inefficient, uses a ton of power, slows down browsers, and there are much, much better options. And mobile is huge technology now, so it needs to be light and efficient. So consider something like HTML5, Canvas, or many other options as well. Oops. And then create holiday landing pages, holiday assets. Really make sure you're highlighting your holiday offers, promotions, discounts. Make it festive. We want to have high add to page relevance. We really want to showcase those offers. Use things like crossed out pricing to show the discounts, show the scarcity with the number remaining, use a countdown for the discount to show that this is, scarce and in limited time. And then test everything. So when in doubt, test it out. Don't wait until the last minute to optimize your websites. Use sites like Pingdom, Google PageSpeed Insights to measure load times. Start A/B testing now. Find out what works best so that you're ready to go for that holiday season. And what is A/B split testing? Well, it's a methodology to compare two versions of something really and figure out which performs better. So it's essentially, running experiments where two or more variants of a page are shown to users at random, and statistical analysis is used to determine which variation performs better for a given conversion goal. So build test ideas and hypotheses around elements of conversion like, trust, value, narrative flow, security, add to page relevance, emotional stimulus. Some other elements worth testing could be, headlines. Look at your H1. Does it connect with the audience? Does it have, value? Do you have value within your supporting copy? Is it clear? Is it legible? Look at images versus video versus having both on the page. And then look at overall page layouts, the calls to action we discussed a little bit earlier, just to name a few options there. Testing your CTAs. Calls to action, they can be a great place really to start out testing, get a few quick wins. Low-hanging fruit, some may call it. There's really a ton you could test. You should iteratively test your calls to action, ensure you're converting the most traffic possible. So things like making sure your CTAs stand prominently on your pages, they're highly contrasted from the rest of the elements on the page, making sure your call to action copy matches the intent and expectations of the action requested. And then test size, shape, placement, color. All of this can help you to gain conversions. I'll hand it over to Matt here now.
Excellent. Thank you, Ryan. All great actionable tips. I look forward to continuing and passing that baton. So I know a lot of us, we are aware of the sales funnel in marketing especially, but I don't know if any of you have been aware that you can apply a model that we use in writing, which is known as AIDA, A-I-D-A, awareness, interest, desire, and action. But we can overlay that onto a conversion rate sales funnel to help you better understand how to map out the different action items we've been talking about, and also give you a few more action items. So let's start off with awareness. To help define awareness, it all comes down to knowing your audience, honestly. So MarTech did a study this past year, and they determined that by simply taking the time to at least create a persona to better understand who are you targeting is going to start feeding better information into the types of A/B tests you can produce at the awareness phase. So these A/B tests can include things like testing the tone of voice in your copy. It can include A/B testing different imagery and different colors throughout your website, and also fonts. I think fonts have an incredible impact on just the psychology of how people interact with websites. And that's not only the font you choose, but also the size of that font. Sometimes websites see a boost in conversions by simply increasing the font by 1 or 2 points and making their text a little bit more legible to their audience. On continuing the note on awareness, here are some more ideas to help pique curiosity for your audience this upcoming Black Friday. So first and foremost, maybe consider working with a graphic design team and giving your homepage a seasonal twist. Really make it feel like the branding is still there. You're still true to your brand, but there are some obvious seasonal elements baked into it that really help the website pop and feel like you really spent some time thinking about this holiday season and the promos you've put together. Thank you, Ryan. If you could go back one. Sorry about that. Also, if you can go ahead and create seasonal landing pages. So not only the actual website, but if you're doing any promotions that are locked by a time frame or just for this specific holiday season, you should consider using a landing page to really dive into that promo and give all the full benefits to your audience. So consider creating dedicated seasonal pages, use some sort of attention-grabbing headlines, and go ahead and ensure that you're writing your copy as personalized as possible. That's why in the previous slide, I was talking about spending the time creating your personas. If you create those personas, you'll better understand their pain points and you'll be able to personalize the copy on your landing pages or on your home page or your product pages to better suit those pain points. The next part of the AIDA model is the interest phase. So how do you get them to stay on your page once you've built that awareness? They know about your brand. They're now on your website. How do you capture them? These are different things that you can try and A/B test and think about entering the holiday season in the next few months. But obviously offer some sort of special holiday promotion or even a bundle of products or services that you maybe never have bundled together before. Showcase any of your unique selling points as prominently as possible, maybe above the fold, or maybe create custom graphics for them. Include as much social proof as possible, testimonials, Trustpilot reviews, even some sort of video reviews. Just try and build more validity in your brand, your product, and your service. And ensure that you're using as much just persuasive descriptions throughout the copy as possible. And some of the ideas we could give you there are obviously free gift wrapping, free shipping, free returns. Those really get people to take action now. The desire step in IDA is more about using certain psychological triggers to build more desire in your product. You've obviously brought awareness to your audience. They know about your product. They know about your service. They now have interest. They've basically read a little bit about what you offer. They know a little bit about the benefits. But now you need to drive that desire. Why is it for them? Why should they choose from you as opposed to your competition? And some of the different triggers that we've used through A/B testing are creating urgency, marking out any sort of exclusivity by purchasing your product or service from your brand, creating scarcity around the product, offering any sort of limited time offers, creating fear of missing out, FOMO, and also bundling things together. So some of the options here you'll see are, for instance, free shipping tends to have one of the biggest impacts on driving up conversion rates. You'll see here on the right side of the screen that for most campaigns, free shipping can bump certain metrics up by upwards of 55%, which can be a massive driver for creating desire in your brand. All right, action. So that's the last phase within IDA is now that you've built all these different phases, you now have them towards the bottom of your funnel. They now have desire for your brand, for your product, for your service. How do you get them to take action? How do you get them to pull out the credit card and actually purchase from you this holiday season? You want to make sure you're using effective call to actions. Don't maybe just go with shop now or buy now. Get a little bit more creative this holiday season. Again, you've heard me say this word multiple times, persuasive copywriting. Be as persuasive as possible to your target audience. Ensure you're optimizing your checkout process. Take the time to maybe buy a product from your own website. Go through your checkout process. See where it may be a little bit clunky. See where it may be slowing down or causing a poor user experience, and figure out how you can go ahead and optimize that so that you are creating the most seamless checkout process this holiday season. And through creating an optimized checkout process, you'll help reduce any of those abandoned carts. So with creating effective call to actions, here are several strategies to use this holiday. So first and foremost, keep copy as concise and clear as possible. People don't want to see big chunks of text. Try and keep it minimal. Try and keep it straight to the point. And also keep mobile in mind. I think a lot more users this holiday season are going to be on mobile. You've seen Ryan. He's shown you guys some of the statistics around mobile and how it continues to increase year over year. So consider that small real estate on a screen when creating copy. Use holiday-related keywords or phrases such as shop festive holiday collection. Get into the holiday spirit with exclusive discounts. From an urgency standpoint, use terms like limited stock or limited time only. Shop now before it's gone. From an exclusive promotion standpoint, you can just use words like exclusive holiday offers. You want to make sure you're incorporating power words such as discover, celebrate, or surprise. And you want to make sure that you're personalizing as much as possible. So shop gifts for your husband, for him, for her, exclusive holiday savings for our valued customers. And just make sure you're aligning all of your copy on your page with these call to actions. I think a lot of mistakes that individuals make when they're A/B testing just call to actions is that they're testing a lot of creative stuff with their buttons or their links within their text, but they kind of ignore the text around that and they don't really match one another. And you kind of cause friction in that sales funnel. From a persuasive copywriting standpoint, you'll want to make sure that you're reviewing your customer persona and adjusting that messaging as much as possible to the pain points that you've identified that are going to resonate the most with that specific persona. You want to make sure you're focusing on sharing gift giving and connecting with others. Tap into emotions as much as possible. Bring about joy, excitement, nostalgia this holiday season. You want to make sure you're writing compelling headlines that basically highlight any holiday-related aspects of your offerings. If there's something specific, a specific benefit about your product or service that seems to shine during the holiday season, make sure you really point that out to people. It may not be as obvious as you may think because you're a little closer to the fire than your audience. And make sure you're injecting scarcity into the copy. I've seen some brands put timers for certain promos before they can kind of expire. I've seen brands put coupons last minute just to get people to really go for the sale. So just create as much scarcity and urgency to drive as much sales this holiday season. Optimizing your checkout process, like I mentioned before, is an integral part. I think from Google Analytics transitioning from UA to GA4, we've seen a couple of different areas to really maximize how you can view your checkout process. Within GA4, you're going to see a funnel experience feature that basically breaks down for you, if you set it up correctly, all of the different stages of your funnel and gives you actionable metrics to really understand where are the drop-off points, where are people abandoning carts, where are your friction points, just so you can really start working with your team to understand where you can optimize and where you can A/B test, or just pretty much revamp certain areas to just create a much better and more seamless user experience. And another thing I want to mention here around user experience is these little tactics, such as what you're seeing on the screen right now, can make such a big difference. I think a lot of the times, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, these holidays, they're known for the discounts. They're known for large percents off. And I think people, they're aware of the 40 or 60% off. But if you do what you see all the way on the right, which is basically, you mentioned like a 40% off, and you just show that the bag or the belt is now $68 or $69, you kind of lose the value in how much you just shaved off for that customer. Do more of what you see here on the left, where you have the original price point, it's struck through, you see the percentage, and then you see the new price point. That drives so much more value to your customers and really knowing how much they're saving this holiday season. So again, make sure you take just these little extra steps in A/B testing, because they can really provide a much bigger boost in the conversion percentages that you'll see. All right. So reducing abandoned carts. So I think this is one of the biggest things in the holiday season is you may have gathered a lot of attention around your brand, your product, your service. You may have gotten a lot of people into your funnel. You drove tons of awareness, tons of interest, tons of desire. You got them to take action by putting the product into their cart. But for whatever reason, they walked away from the screen, shut down the browser, stepped away. So again, how do we go about reducing abandoned carts? There are ways to do this through A/B testing. So a couple of the different things I will suggest for you guys, some of the actionable things are essentially going through and making sure that you're getting them to come back to the cart. This may be through some email tactics. This may be through some other different tactics, but essentially in these different avenues, you'll want to use call to action such as click here to get an additional discount if you purchase from us today. Remind them of the different benefits that are coming with this product. Remind them that they're going to be getting a free shipping or free return policy. Remind them if they're getting any sort of free gift wrapping with this type of offering. Also use exit pop-ups as a last ditch effort. I know we said on mobile, pop-ups are you should be a little bit weary with pop-ups on mobile, but on desktop, pop-ups are still very effective. So if you use an exit pop-up, which is basically as my cursor is starting to move up to close the browser or the window, the pop-up comes up. So use that to really drive more action from those customers to close in a quicker time frame. Remove any sort of navigation from the checkout process. So again, it just removes any avenue for them to kind of go backwards. And also light the path for them with any sort of breadcrumbs so they really understand how they got to this point. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to my colleagues.
Thanks, Matt. Couple more slides here, and then we'll open it up for some questions. But wanted to talk a little bit about some vertical specific challenges and then some opportunities within the e-commerce and retail sectors. So really, how do you stand out from your competition? There's a few things we have here on the right-hand side that we've seen, up to 50% lifts with. You really want to optimize your product pages to maximize conversions. So things like virtual try-ons, user-generated images, giving different 10 reasons to buy, or discounted discount count timers, free shipping callouts. We've talked a little bit about. They all help to build trust. They create scarcity and emotional stimulus, and they really make that purchase decision much easier for the visitor. So on our next slide here, we have a anatomy of a perfect product page for e-commerce. So feel free to grab that QR code. I'm sure we'll be sending out the link here as well. But within that, you'll find some additional points on how to create that perfect product page for e-commerce sectors. There's a number of different ideas within that, so feel free again to download.
It's over 20 something ideas, so it's worth checking out and downloading. They're super effective, and they're worth testing out as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. And then let's talk a little bit about service-based industries, a few challenges there and opportunities. I'll just mention a few of these, and then I'll have Matt just go into a little bit more detail on them. But for service-based industries, really should be creating those holiday-themed landing pages. We want to have that strong ad-to-page relevance. We clearly want to highlight your offers, some of your limited time promotions. We want to keep visitors on your pages. We want to keep them engaged by incorporating social proof. We don't want them leaving to check out, reviews, testimonials, things like that. So provide those right on your page in the form of testimonials, things like star ratings, over 10,000 5-star ratings, stuff like that. Media mentions, as seen on with, logos of different brands. Perhaps they don't recognize your brand, but maybe some of these other ones they do, and that could help to build some trust there. Matt, I will hand this back to you now.
Appreciate it, Ryan. So within the B2B space, there's a couple different things that we want to call out for you guys. I know the service space can be a little tougher in regards of how creative can you get during Black Friday or some of these holiday seasons. But there's a lot that you can do. I think from a holiday offer perspective, think about any sort of exclusive offers that you can put together, offer some sort of discount or packages tailored to the needs of your customers. Maybe offer some sort of demo that you've never offered before, maybe offer some sort of free trial or at least a month free of your service, or just get creative with your pricing tiers, offer discounts around the different pricing tiers that you offer. If you offer credits or anything like that for your services, just get creative with those bundles. Also, make sure that you're showcasing as much social proof and testimonials as possible. Really highlight the good work you've done. Now that we're still early enough in the year in regards of Black Friday, reach out to your current customers and start aggregating testimonials and case studies now on the services or the results that you generated for those customers, and find creative ways of leveraging those on your websites, your landing pages, your email marketing campaigns, because those case studies and testimonials can go a long way. Create holiday themed content and educational resources, maybe come out with some sort of blog series or a chapter series on a white paper for this upcoming holiday, really depicting or detailing your services, and also offer extended trials or demos like I mentioned before. Some other areas of B2B for local businesses and brick and mortar stores. Obviously, for these segments, it's driving foot traffic. I think that's the biggest thing for you guys, right? And I think from that aspect, you need to start thinking just as creative as possible on driving foot traffic, boosting in-store conversions, but also think about ways that you can tie kind of digital actions to real world actions. So if there's ways you can do like some sort of online ordering and local pickup to really drive more foot traffic and get more awareness of your location and where your brick and mortar is, try and leverage that as much as possible. Display encouraging reviews and ratings. Make sure you're updating your holiday hours. I think this is a big one, is spending the time within Google Business Profiles to set your holiday hours and make sure they're as accurate as possible. create scarcity with any sort of limited quantities that you may have this holiday season at your brick and mortar. Again, like I said above with the online ordering, just create those online to offline or vice versa types of strategies where basically you're targeting people through mobile ads, location-based mobile ads, click and collect, reserve in store options. And finally, leverage QR codes as much as possible and any NFC technology to help people access your promos, your offers much easier than going and typing in a code or having to go type in a URL. Give them these QR codes so it could just make that experience seamless for them and want to come back for more.
So key takeaways is right now is the time to start your CRO for Black Friday and this holiday period. Why would you wait? Because you can get more sales now and you can end up getting even more sales during that period as well. As I mentioned, this was lesson 2 or episode 2 in the series. There's 4 episodes total. The next one is going to be, baby, it's not an iPad. The screen, you can't touch the screen. It doesn't work that way. This is episode 2, and we're going to be covering episode 3 on getting your email marketing ready as well. Now, if you guys need help with your CRO, you can implement a lot of the stuff we talked about. Yes, that's daddy. Or what you could end up doing is, it's okay, you can leave him. Or what you could end up doing is working with a company like ours at NP Digital, where we help companies of all sizes with their conversion rate optimization and their digital marketing in general. All you have to do is just scan that QR code, or you can just go to NP Digital. And not only are we helping companies of all sizes with all their digital marketing, we're also doing this throughout the whole world. We're in many countries, not just the United States. We're in places like India, Brazil, Canada, UK, France, Spain, Mexico, Colombia, Australia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore, and the list keeps going on and on as well. So let's dive into some questions.
All right, good stuff. Hello, everyone. Colin here with NP Digital on the marketing team. It's been a big theme the last year and a half, getting more with less. So CRO is definitely a hot topic, and there are lots of questions. So we'll start with this. Let's maybe hand this one over to Ryan. If you're a small brand, and I think I know the answer, is it better to change little things here and there in our e-store? Or if things are pretty messed up and we know it, should we do a total revamp?
Yeah, great question. Small brand, I'm assuming maybe small traffic too, right? So it's important to understand like how much traffic do you have? Can you test to significance in a reasonable amount of time? Or is the traffic so small that, you know, this would take months and months and months and months to get to any point of significance? So you have to consider that as well. If the answer is there is low traffic, I like to go big or go home and do some kind of template testing, bringing in a number of different elements, you know, elements of conversion, putting them all together and, you know, really testing out that, you know, bringing in best practices. You know, some may say that you really can't pinpoint what the single element is at that time, but if you can get there quicker, if you could get conversions up, you know, faster, I think that's the main thing. And then you can always go back and, you know, start to fine tune every single element. So I would say if it's lower traffic, smaller brand, go big or go home, make those changes, follow those best practices, you know, test it to significance, and then to start fine tuning every single element. Really, you can test everything on a page. Testing and optimization never really ends. You always have to keep doing it, keeping up with the competition, you know, keeping up with the marketplace. So that would be my suggestion there.
Awesome. So landing page was mentioned multiple times throughout the presentation. So the question, and I think I know the answer to this, and it's SEO relevant. So I'm going to hand this one over to Neil. But what's better for a Black Friday sale? Should you have a landing page or should you have an evergreen website specific to each holiday or promotion?
So I do think from an SEO perspective, it's really good to have specific pages like a Black Friday page that you can continually rank and get traffic for. You just need to make sure you keep it up to date. So then that way you have pages that are living on, so that way it keeps getting traffic. And what you'll notice is during the off season, you won't get that much traffic, but your rankings will still be there. So then that way during the next Black Friday, right before it hits, or Cyber Week or Monday or whatever you want to call it, you'll find that you'll get way more traffic and way more sales versus not having those pages. What a lot of companies do is they pop up those pages right before, and you just don't get as much traffic versus having them there and continually maintaining them and optimizing them to grow.
Thank you, Neil. Maybe Matt for this one. For a Black Friday campaign, is it better to focus on bottom of the funnel? Would it be best to simply optimize the transactional pages, or should we be looking elsewhere? Or anyone for that matter, with a response to that?
I think for Black Friday, it all depends on where I would say it all depends on where your website is in regards of that funnel. Like if you audit your website, you feel like your website is really strong from like a creating like desire and action. So you just need more support and you need to drive more traffic, then you should tailor your campaigns in that fashion. Or if you feel like it's vice versa, like if you feel like you drive a lot of traffic to your websites, but you really don't convert at a high clip, then I would suggest kind of focusing a lot of your CRO efforts towards those type of campaigns. So I would say it's situational based on where you're seeing your conversions at which stage of the funnel. But I don't know if Ryan or Neil, any of you have other insights on that.
I think that makes sense. Anyone else have any pile on? Yeah. Okay. Question for the group, because there's so many tools out there, and it's likely that we use some of the same, but different ones as well. Can anyone suggest CRO audit tools, a good landing page tool? Also, any thoughts on which tools or platforms to use for A/B testing?
Well, sadly, VWO, a Google Website Optimizer. Is it GWO? I forgot what the exact
Google Optimize, Geo.
Google Optimize is pretty much gone, so there goes that one. There's a lot of tools: Crazy Egg, Hotjar, Optimizely, landing page builders. If you're on WordPress, there's a lot of landing page builders, or even templates. ClickFunnels is one that can help you pop up pages pretty quickly. Unbounce is another landing page tool. I like hard coding and building a lot of these in, though. Just from a marketing and SEO perspective, you're better off building them yourself versus using other products that are hosting your own landing pages for you, though, just as FYI.
Good response. Thank you, Neil. A question for Ryan. I like video. It's been useful when I help clients with their Shopify e-stores. What are your just general thoughts on videos and videos in helping with the conversion path and or funnel?
I like video too. Some people prefer videos. So first off, I would suggest keeping it rather concise. You know, if you're going to use a hero video, something like that, you don't want to put like a 25-minute video on there. They're really too long, slow down page load times, things like that. So I generally keep it to about 50 seconds or less if you can, and really want to explain the product, the value. Sometimes you can do that in a video in a much quicker and concise fashion than you can with like 7 or maybe 8 different content blocks stacked on top of each other. And it almost ensures that if you can keep the visitors engaged in that video, that they can take in the entire video in 40 seconds and understand really what you're about, all the value you bring to the table. And as we know, not majority of people are not going to scroll to the bottom of your page, so they might not even get halfway through it, and there could be some important pieces down there. So it's an easy way for visitors to kind of understand. At the same time, you still want to provide that other, outlet of the copy, displaying the value throughout the copy on the page, making it concise, easy to digest, understand what it's about, just kind of a quick elevator pitch. And if you can do those and balance both of those, I think you can, get the best of both worlds. And, again, it's about getting as many people as we can to convert. So in the end, test it out, see what works, test different video lengths, test a video in the hero section, test having a video in the second content block, test just images, you test everything in the end, would be my recommendation there.
Always be testing. This is a good one, and I tend to agree with Mobile High Five. Thoughts on abandoned cart SMS? I find them annoying. I do too, but does anyone else have any thoughts on abandoned cart SMS, the follow-up?
They are annoying, but they work. I've tested them out left, right, and center, and they work really, really well. Abandoned cart SMSs work way better than abandoned cart emails. Not saying you shouldn't do the email version, you should do both, but I kid you not, you'll see a nice lift in sales if you're using it.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback, Neil. I think we've got time for a couple of more. This one, I don't know if there's an answer for this, but with CTAs and all the testing that NPD has done, are there just specific colors that maybe convert better, specifically for mobile purchases? Like, does blue work better than orange, or orange work better than yellow? Like, any thoughts on just colors when it comes to buttons and CTAs?
When you're thinking about colors, a few things. One, we've seen that red typically decreases conversions when you're using it in a call to actions. I've run a lot of tests on this, but it doesn't mean that there's another color that's better. Think of it more as having your CTA buttons pop or stand out. The last thing you want to do is have them blend in and not really look like buttons. That's more important, and making sure that your colors stand out versus saying you got to use this shade of blue is going to increase your conversions the most. That's typically not the case. But what we do see is typically when you're doing red everywhere for your like CTA buttons, we do see it hurt. People usually associate red with stop.
Awesome. Thank you, Neil. One more. How do you make so lots of testing, whether it's copy, CTAs, et cetera. How do you make sure your copy, if you're doing copy testing, doesn't infringe upon others' IP rights? Many marketing claims are similar, and do we risk copying others and essentially getting in trouble for doing so? Maybe that's a Ryan question. Sorry, put you on the spot. Or Neil.
So they're pretty much saying if we copy other people's copy, are we risking anything? I'm assuming you are. I'm not a lawyer, but if you copy anyone, plagiarism, there's probably some legal issues. When in doubt, don't copy. Try to come up with your own stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, if you have to ask that question, you probably should seek some sort of legal counsel to review that copy. Because most industries, it shouldn't be, if you're selling basic products and services, there should be information from the manufacturer you're allowed to use. But I would get some sort of legal advice.
Good advice. And I think that's all we have time for right at the top of the hour. So great questions. Thank you, everyone in the audience.
All right.
Everyone, thank you for joining. Really appreciate having you guys. If you need any help with your marketing, check us out at npdigital.com. My name is Neil Patel, and I help companies generate more revenue through digital marketing. Entrepreneur Magazine said I was the #1 marketer in the world, and they also said I created one of the 100 most brilliant companies. I started my first website at the age of 16. I took all the money that I earned from working at an amusement park, and I paid a marketing firm. The marketing firm provided no results, and I quickly learned that I wasn't alone. Out of my frustration and from being broke, I had no choice but to learn marketing. My first client was a power supply manufacturer. I helped them generate another $25 million in sales, and from that point, I realized the power of marketing. I helped everyone that I could, and I built my reputation by being honest and over-delivering. I've helped companies like Google, NBC, Viacom, General Motors, eBay, but nothing's more satisfying than helping small business owners succeed. I founded 4 multi-million-dollar companies, and I've learned all the mistakes that you should avoid. I've written about them on Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Fast Company, and even on my own blogs. It's so awesome to know that colleges from all around the world are teaching my material in their classroom. Over the years, I've received awards from the President of the United States, the House of Representatives, and the United Nations. People believe marketing is expensive and difficult. Fortunately, that's not true. There is a formula. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, you can get results. And my mission is to share this formula with you.